So many people doing things to be seen and not because they actually care. I mean, that's something that Jesus talked about. He talked about, don't give so that people can see you. Don't pray simply because, you want to be seen and you want the reputation of being spiritual or giving and all that stuff. But no, be humble about it and actually, first of all, actually do the thing that you're pretending to be. Actually be giving, actually have a good prayer life, and then do it quietly, humbly, not kind of like bragging. And there are so many people, so many filthy rich people that like to virtue signal and talk about how much we need to give and how much we need to take in the illegal immigrants and that sort of thing. But they don't do it themselves. You don't see them spending their own money, giving up their own riches and opening up their own homes to these people. No, they puff their chests out and they talk about how uncaring you are if you don't care about illegal immigrants and that sort of thing. And then they appeal, and they basically say the government should take care of them. Not them, the government. Well, when Jesus talked about charity, when Jesus talked about loving your neighbor, he wasn't talking about appealing to the government to use someone else's money and then you patting yourself on the back for being given. No, he was talking about you actually taking from within yourself and helping this other person and investing in them personally. That's the kind of giving the Bible talks about. The Bible doesn't talk about welfare. The Bible doesn't talk about appealing to the government to do things that, we're expected to do on a personal level. Now you got Cher, you got Cory Booker, you got Hillary Clinton. Well, she's a little different story because she's actually admitted to the Europeans that immigration is ruining Europe, but she won't tell it to the Americans. You got these liberal people who try to vilify Trump so much for saying what he said about illegal immigration and how that it's detrimental to the country. And so many people were upset and calling him racist and all of this. But when he said, hey, how about I just send all the illegal immigrants to the sanctuary cities? Cities that have vowed to defy federal law and to open up their city to illegals, to the point where sometimes illegal immigrants get caught committing crimes in these countries, in these cities, and they don't enforce the law and they don't hold them so that they can be deported. They'll actually go out of their way to protect illegal immigrants, even if it's a criminal. So now all of a sudden they're saying, well, it wouldn't be a good idea to flood certain cities with illegal immigrants. And, we have to think about the homeless first and the veterans first. That's what Americans have been saying all the time. That's what nationalists have been saying all the time. And you call them racist. But see, here's the thing. They don't care about illegal immigrants. All of these people who get on their moral soapbox and they try to say that they're so moral and you're so immoral if you don't care about these people and they deserve a second chance in America. They don't care about those people. The only reason why they say that is so that they can feel good about themselves and to attack Trump by, I do this. Trump doesn't care about these people. Because when he said, hey, I'll give you those people, what they say, oh, that's not a good idea. Trump is just trying to use this as a tool or whatever. Look, if you really cared about helping those people and he gives you an opportunity to take them in, like you get in front of the cameras and claim you will, if you really cared about these people, you would do it. Regardless of which motives you think Trump had, you would just do it because you cared about these people. But I've never seen politicians blatantly go against what they said so quickly. As soon as someone said, you know what, how about we do it your way? I've never seen that before. That's insane. And it's just further proof that Democrats, they don't care about, the Democrats will promote whatever agenda out there that will get them votes. Before Trump, almost every single one of them Democrats would have said the same exact thing, and they did in the past. They all said the same thing about illegal immigration. It's dangerous to our culture, It's dangerous to our infrastructure. And, we can't just have open borders. We have to vet people. Yeah, the immigration process is not perfect. We need to make it faster. We need to make it maybe easier for people to become citizens. But just the idea of people pouring over the wall and swimming across the river, it's not helpful. Democrats would say that. But then when Trump came along and then Trump said it, they said, hey, this is a thing that we can use to make him sound harsh and uncaring. So then they flipped their script, literally the same exact ones. I have a video called Democrats Refuting Democrats. And you'll see all of the big names, even Obama, you'll see them saying exactly what Trump said about illegal immigration. You can't just have illegal immigration. You have criminals, you have human traffickers, you have all kind of evil people that come across in the mix of the different kind of people that try to come into this country illegally. And there's so much more you can say about it. But yet, like I said, when Trump ran, all of a sudden they act like they never said this stuff. They act like he's the first one to ever say it, when all of the Democrats advocated for the same exact thing. So it's same thing with abortion, same thing with same-sex marriage. What Democrats do, and this is why they consider themselves progressives and, stand with the times, what they do is they stick their finger to the wind and they see which way the general opinion is swaying, and then they promote that platform. The Democratic Party's platform is not based off of personal values and convictions. Personal values and convictions doesn't change like that. You can adjust or you can mature or whatever, but to completely flip on a whole bunch of things as soon as the culture changes, that's not having a backbone. That's simply just telling people what their itching ears want to hear. And that's just pure evil. It's pure evil. It's using people's plight, people's weakness. It's basically using things just for your political gain and not really caring about it. Claiming you care about them, but you really don't. And it's sad that people don't see how wicked and evil that is. That's not, if you can talk about illegal immigrants and how the United States needs to take in illegal immigrants, but then someone says, well, can you take one into your home, and you have an excuse, then shut up. You don't really care about them. You're not ready to put your money where your mouth is. You got to put skin in the game. You can't say, it's easy to say what somebody else should do. It's easy to volunteer someone else's money to help the poor. It's easy to volunteer someone else's neighborhood, to have an influx of illegal immigrants. But when it's your own, when these people have to do it for themselves, they object. They complain. They don't want to deal with the problem. If I'm rich and I go around and I go around my neighborhood and I take a collection for the poor, and I say, I take a collection to the poor and I present it to this church or to this shelter. And I say, hey, this is, and I kind of like puff my chest out and I say, here, I'm making a donation to this shelter because I care about the poor. And I didn't put in, or I only put in a little bit. But what I did was I forced everyone else, I threatened everyone else and forced them to give to the homeless. How can I brag about being charitable? I gave away someone else's money. I forced them to do it. And that's exactly the same thing as what liberals try to do with the government. You're going to try to force, you're going to take other people's money with a threat of force, give it to someone else, and then pat yourself on the back for you being giving. That's not how it works. That's not what the Bible talks about at all. So it's inappropriate for Christians to kind of have that view. Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. And what did the guy say? Well, who's my neighbor? And that's where the story of the Good Samaritan came in. The story of the Good Samaritan came in is because all of the people who were supposed to help that poor man that was injured and beaten and robbed, they are the people who, by their designation, by their race or by their ethnicity, by their title, by their position, they were supposed to help this person, but they didn't. But the person who helped him was a person who had racial tension between their race and another race. That's one thing about the Good Samaritan people don't realize. There was ethnic tension between the Samaritans and the Jews. So the idea of Jesus calling this person a good Samaritan, where the Jewish priest, the Jewish Levite, passed along and didn't help their fellow injured Jew, this other person of a different ethnicity who usually have beef with each other, this person treated him like family and paid for him to be in the inn and got him off the ground and got him food and stuff. Like, that's the kind of giving that Jesus talks about. It doesn't talk about, yes, I'm giving by protesting the government to raise taxes to feed homeless people. That's something totally different.